This is Coach Isaac coming back at you from Secondary Methods with Dr. Wong. And today we're going to talk about understanding calories. So let's go ahead and get started. So, the first thing I want us to do is I want everyone to just go ahead and kind of think about what a calorie may be before we get into the actual definition. Kind of get your own understanding of what it may be so that you can kind of compare your definition to my basic definition and then the actual definition of a calorie, just so that we can relate. So, what is a calorie? Well, a calorie, the basic definition of to me, is a basic unit of energy. The actual definition of a calorie is a measure of how much energy it takes to heat 1 gram of water by 1 degree of Celsius. So we honestly don't really know that actual definition. Really doesn't seem like it has much to do with um, the body and how we use our body, because we know that calories are a primary source of energy, or that we get our primary sources of energy from food that have calories that we use for energy. There are 1,000 calories in a kilocalorie. It's pretty easy. Kilo, 1,000 kilocalorie. The term calorie is typically used for food labels and menus, but is actually referring to kilocalories. And then here's kind of what the calories part of the label would look like on a food label. So this looks like it's 280 calories, but it's actually saying that there are 280,000 calories in 280 kilocalories. Um, so moving on, our calories, where do they come from? Well, we know that if they're on food labels and on menus, that they're going to come from our food. But where specifically? So foods deliver calories in the form of our proteins, our carbohydrates, and our fats. This is your primary sources of calories. You get your calories from all the nutrients that we eat and we take in. But these are going to be our 3 primary sources of calories. Um, Proteins and fats, you're going to get a lot of that from the meats that you eat, which would make sense that you get a lot of calories from that. And then your carbohydrates are going to be more of like your fruits and vegetables. And we'll get more into that in just a moment. Your carbohydrates, which include sugars, often come from fruits, vegetables, and grain products. So, your apples, say your squashes, carrots, uh, tomatoes, bananas, and then you have your grain products like rice, bread, um, like so most of your cereals have a lot of grain in them. Um, like any kind of seeds that you may eat, stuff like that. You get a lot of grain out of that. Then we have protein that can be found in, say, nuts, beans, legumes, and animal meats. Um, this is probably, and we'll get more in the order of like what's more calorie rich, nutrient rich, I guess, in a moment. But to me, I feel like protein is more of uh, the better way to go when it comes to calories, and you'll understand why in a moment once we get to the order. And then we have our healthy fats that often come from plant-based oils, some fruits and vegetables, and some fatty fish. So like your omega-3s, those are healthy fats that come from like fish and stuff like that. Um, and they're very calorie rich. So these are probably where most of our calories are going to come from. And so we'll get more into how do we get calories from these nutrients. So to create energy, our bodies convert these nutrients into glucose, which is a simple sugar. Glucose fuels all the processes within the body. Our breathing, our muscle movements, our thoughts, everything that goes on in our body, all the processes and functions of our organs, glucose fuels all of them. Although some nutrients are harder to break down to use than others. So your carbohydrates are going to be your easier nutrients to break down. They're pretty easy. They're pretty simple sugar. Like they're simple sugars. They're pretty much glucose. Um, so there's not much for them to break down. They release ATP pretty easily. When it comes to digestion and stuff like that, they'll release the energy a lot easier than next, which would be our fats. These fatty oils and stuff like that, they're thicker, they're more complex, and so this source of energy and calories is a little bit harder for our body to access, so they are meant to be used for a little bit longer of activity. Your carbohydrates, they're like almost an instant source of energy, so we would use these our body uses carbohydrates to give us calories and energy in situations where we're going to be just working for just the short time. And then these fats, our body will use these fats after it's broken down all the carbohydrates. It will use this source of energy and break them down to sustain the activity and the movements and just functions of our body. And then lastly, we have proteins. And proteins are very, very hard to break down for our body. They break down into like amino acids, and those amino acids are very, very tightly knit together. They're very complex, and they're very hard for our body to break down. So your proteins are going to be a good source of energy for in the near future, like in the next several hours, possibly like the next day. It's very good to eat protein for building muscle. Your proteins are just going to be really hard to break down when it comes to trying to use them on an instant. So the energy coming from proteins and the calories coming from proteins are going to be used for activity, movement, energy use that will be over a long period of time, and your body will access that energy the longer the activity or the energy use is sustained. So next we got to get into counting calories. The average adult woman needs to consume about 2,000 calories per day. And I mean, that seems like a lot, but it's honestly not. And we'll get into it a little bit later as to why 2,000 calories, depending on lifestyle, may still be not enough. The average adult man needs about 2,500 calories per day. I mean, men, we have bigger bodies. Typically, and this is an average, we have more physical jobs, like more demanding needs of our bodies, and so this is an average. So I mean, this is not for sure 100% fact that every adult man needs more calories than every woman. This is just an average. Average adult man needs 500 more calories per day than the average woman. And a lot of that is for the reason for that is from a lot of the same factors as to why these numbers may be incorrect for me or say someone else in my life. Uh, I mean, I'm the same average adult man as the next average adult man, but he may need more calories than I, or these two average adult women may need different amounts of calories per day. The first woman may only need 1700 calories per day, and the next woman may need 21 to 2200 calories per day. Everyone is specific and in their own situation in this when it comes to this, and so we just have to be educated in how we need to count our calories and how we need to calculate how many calories we need per day. So while these numbers provide an idea of expectation, calorie requirements vary drastically from person to person. So this is just kind of what I was explaining, what I was talking about. Everybody's different. Everybody's daily life is different. Uh, your daily life changes from day to day. You may go off and chop wood one day for the winter, and you need a lot of calories. You got to keep your body warm, and you got to sustain a lot of energy to chop up a lot of wood. So you're going to eat a lot of calories that day. You're going to need a lot. The next day, you may have the day off in the summer, or next time you think about it, you may be on summer break, maybe not be doing hardly anything that day. So you probably wouldn't even need half of the calories that you needed on that day in the winter that you were out chopping wood all day. It's just a day-to-day thing. Calorie requirements vary drastically from person to person. These numbers are just an idea of expectation of routinely everyday life. So how much energy your body needs varies based on many factors, including activity level, age, height, and more. So like your body mass index, and that'll be in a different lesson. So your activity level, kind of like your lifestyle. Do you work out? I mean, do you go play basketball? Do you go play intramural sports? Do you work out? Do you exercise? Anything like that? Your activity level. I mean, do you live a sedentary lifestyle? If you do, I mean, you probably don't need that many calories. Your age. As a young adult, metabolisms are high. So your metabolism is going to require more calories. A high metabolism eats up those calories pretty quick. As we get older, we start to hit a middle age, and most people's metabolisms start to slow down. So eating that many calories every day isn't necessarily that healthy anymore. You can get overweight, you can get slightly obese, and you can get even morbidly obese fairly quickly if not adjusting. If you don't adjust to your metabolism slowing down as you age. Your height, just your body composition. Your body composition matters in this. Your body mass index. You may need a lot more calories to fit the need of your expectation when it comes to your body mass index. There's just a lot of factors that go into this, and the two most important that I truly believe in are the activity level, what kind of lifestyle you live, and then your age. Because that metabolism slowing down can hit like a truck, and you just continue eating like you always have, and then you gain 20, 30, 40 pounds in a year, and it's like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Well, we didn't adjust our activity level to our aging, or our aging affected our activity level, and we haven't ever slowed our eating habits. So just to show you, these 3 apples might fill you up for, like a pretty good little snack, or like even a lunch. That donut, man, probably not going to fill you up for even a breakfast or anything, like just a snack. But they're the same amount of calories. I mean, it's just kind of you have to think about these things. You have to weigh your calories every day, every meal, every item that you eat. We have to think about these things. And so here we're going to watch a little video just to kind of give us an idea.
Helping make your life easier. Moms every day.
Good morning, I'm Katie Kunkel. We all can see how many calories are in certain food items we eat if we read the labels. For example, even just one slice of cheese pizza can contain over 300 calories. So how many calories should we be eating over the course of an entire day? Here to explain how many you need for your body is Eileen Dutter, a registered dietitian in Mayo Clinic Health System's Weight Management Services Department. Good morning, Eileen.
Good morning, Katie.
So how many calories does the average American woman need in a day, and how does that compare to men?
Although there is some variation depending on how much lean tissue you have, on an average, most American women over the age of 18 need 10 calories per pound to maintain a given weight, and men would use a multiplier of 11. So, for example, if a woman weighed 180, she would take her weight times 10, and she would need 1,800 calories a day without exercise. And a man, if he weighed 200, would take that weight times 11, and he would need 2,200 calories a day.
Without exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do we figure how many calories we each personally need for our body type?
Well, I think if you're personally trying to identify a healthy weight, at Mayo Clinic's Weight Management Services Department, we would use the BMI chart as a reference to determine health risks associated with obesity.
Okay.
And on that chart, we would help you identify a healthier weight for you to achieve and maintain. And if you'd like a copy of this chart, we have them free in our department, or you can call 838-6731 and be happy to help you with your weight.
Okay. And what other tips do you have for achieving and maintaining a healthy weight?
Stay very active. Move your body through space at least an hour a day. Eat 4 full cup servings of vegetables and a couple of pieces of fruit. And drink your water.
All right. Thank you for the great information this morning, Eileen. And to learn more, please visit Moms Every Day. You will find more information under Weight Management Services.
All right, so we kind of saw a little bit more how the body mass index, so your height and your own weight, how they kind of counter in with counting calories for your specific day, for your specific meal. It's just kind of your expectation for every day. So I hope that everything was very informational. I honestly like this kind of stuff. I think this is pretty cool. You get to kind of count out everything, and you get to set a goal basically. And I think that this should be something that we strive for, is healthy eating and just taking care of ourselves and just counting our calories. So what I want for our post-assessment is I want you to start counting calories. I want you to, for the next, we'll say 3 days, and you can do one meal a day. Just do one meal a day, but for the next 3 days, so that we have different variety of meals on different days. What I want, one meal a day for the next 3 days. I want you to record the calories eaten for one meal a day. And I'd like for one day to have breakfast, one day to have lunch, and one day to have dinner. That way you kind of have an idea of when you're eating your most calories. And there's just some difference there. I don't want all 3 days to be lunch, all 3 days to be dinner, and all 3 days to be breakfast. I mean, let's kind of put some thought, and we'll put a little bit more energy into this. But I want you to record the calories that you eat for one meal per day for the next 3 days. I want that recorded, and then I want that typed up, and I would like that sent to me at my email. That is our post-assessment. I want to thank you guys for your time. And if you have any questions, here are the websites that I have gotten a lot of my information from, and just some ideas. There's a lot of information on here as well, guys. Feel free to use it. Feel free to ask me any questions if you like. I'm sure that I'll be able to answer them. Thank you.